Okay, around town you'll probably run into a few people I like to call losers. Maybe they need a ride, or maybe they need help. Whatever, the point is, once you've helped them out, they will be available to help drive your lazy butt around.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to The Simpsons Hit and Run. Sorry that the cutoffs in this game are going to be a little bit inelegant. You know, this game just kind of jumps from one thing to the next, which is fine with me. Anyway, yes, here we are. We have the Plow King. We have just smashed Smithers' car to bits. And now we are driving to the power plant. And I am going to completely overshoot and misunderstand where the where in the power plant I need to be going, which is the very front, and accidentally take you through the whole power plant. My mouth keeps wanting to say PowerPoint, but that is not correct. Yeah, the next mission is going to be taking us through this whole area, and that's, I guess, how you're supposed to see it. So I'm just ruining everything, spoiling everything in this run, getting ahead of myself, looking for extra goodies. But you'll get to see the Freemasons Hall. I forget the name of that secret society, but yeah. I know some people here in the city who are Freemasons. Pretty interesting. I also know, what are they called? Mennonites? Or not Mennonites? I forget. Or maybe, yeah, no, I think it's that he was a Mennonite. I met a guy at work who was a Mennonite. He had like a fez. At least I think this is what he was. I don't know. He was one of those kinds of guys. Anyway, yeah, how's everybody doing? I hope you're having a good Monday. Nobody likes Mondays, but I had a pretty short and easy day at work today, which I am very thankful for. And, yeah, I just got done watching the last 3 hours of a 5-hour movie. It was very good. And now I'm chilling. I'm recording this game or recording my voice over the game, rather, and having a ball. I did my little stream with JT the other night. We shot the shit for nigh on 2 hours, and that went pretty well. And then I played Skywalker Saga. I finished up the Phantom Menace bit of that game. And, yeah, I hope to stream again midweek this week, as well as in the weekend, and that's kind of the rhythm that I'm hoping to get into. And I love running over these dudes in the hazmat suits. They remind me of the guys from the Fairy Godmother's place in Shrek 2. I always like those little dudes. But yeah, it was fun talking to JT. Like I've said before, I'm definitely going to get him involved with this LP in the coming weeks, especially now that his schedule is pretty freed up ever since he moved from the West Coast to the Best Coast last week. And if you want to hear a lot of stories of his cross-country trip, that was in the stream last night. Also, you gotta love that, me fucking not wanting to run into the wall, so I am constantly backing up, thinking I'm hitting the vending machine. I like to hit the vending machines and shit with the cars, because then all the coins just come to you when you hit something that releases coins in a car, rather than having to run around and get them. That's something that trips me up, something that just happened there too, which is especially in like the platforming sections of it. The camera angle will just change on you, or it'll like swing around because it wants you to, do it a certain way or whatever, and you have to change the direction you're walking in like mid-movement, and it's very annoying. That's one of those, like I said in the last one of those examples of licensed game being like fun and memorable because it's janky, but that's also like can be a hindrance in some regards.
Marge will clean this mess up later.
That's something that JT and I talked about. I don't know if we talked about it on the stream, but we talked about it like when we were just hanging out on Discord before the stream. And it was something that I actually meant to say in the first video and forgot to, which is that this game would be perfect for like a modern day remaster, I feel like. Obviously there have been a bunch of those, including now of like licensed platformers and other regular platformers like the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro remasters, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, and then also of the the more highly regarded AAA ones like the Resident Evil 2 remake and the Final Fantasy VII remake and all that shit. I think this one would be a great candidate for that treatment because I feel like you wouldn't even really have to do that much. You wouldn't have to change very much. I feel like you would just have to update the graphics, and then tighten up the physics, the car physics, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a game developer or coder, or I do not have any sort of great knowledge of how video games are made in any practical sense. So I can't give any and I've also only played through this game and I haven't even beaten it. I've only played through it all the way once, and I don't know all of its little ticks and whatnot. So I just take all that with a grain of salt. I'm just saying I can't give any specific prescriptions for what I think should be different or what could be improved, other than just saying very vaguely make the car feel better. But yeah, I feel like you could. It wouldn't take that much effort, and I feel like people would play it. I would play it. I think they should do it. If we're not gonna make any cool new games and we're going to remake everything, then we should remake this as well. Also, there are definitely cool new games coming out. I just I don't play many of them. So I really have no one to blame but myself. But it's okay. I mean, the state of things in the video game industry is certainly concerning in many of the same ways that the state of just the entertainment industry and the world is concerning. But I would say that it's not quite as dismal as movies are right now. So video games have a leg up in some respects over film at the moment. Anyway, so yeah, if whoever kidnapped the families of the THQ Nordic people and made them do Battle for Bikini Bottom, that was pretty dark. I don't know why I would think that they did that. Or why I would say that they did. But you know what I mean. Whoever convinced them to remake Battle for Bikini Bottom, do that with this game.
Where Mayor Quimby is fielding questions from an angry mob.
These miniature cameras are an outrage. Spying on our women's dressing rooms, bathrooms, and locker rooms is unforgivable. I think I speak for all Springfielders when I say, where is the sexy footage?
In other unexplained news, strange black vans have been appearing all over town.
Marge, that black van is spying on us.
Oh, homie, you're so sexy when you're paranoid.
Let's do this thing!
Marge is a freak for real. Okay, yeah, so this is, we're getting into the, we're establishing the premise, as they say.
Well, it's about time.
It's not the best idea to use the Plow King for this, I don't think. But it's okay. I mean, the Plow King is still reasonably fast, and at the very least, it's a big car, so you can just smash through most cars that hit you, unlike every other time when you're in a smaller car, and it's just like, oh no, you have to spend 14 minutes backing up and then going forward. It's still not as satisfying as, running over a smaller car in a Patriot in GTA 4. I would say that's, the standard that I want for for that. I know a lot of people really hate how the cars feel to drive in GTA 4, and I don't know, maybe that's just because it was one of the like driving intensive games that I played the most when I was younger. Who knows? Speaking though of movies and games and the way and the intersections of those two worlds, there's been some recent news about the Minecraft movie that I feel like has been like supposedly coming out for like 10 years. I feel like pretty much since the launch of the full game, which was in 2011, I've been hearing about like a Minecraft movie. Originally, I feel like it was going to be computer animated, but apparently it's live action. It had Steve Carell attached for the longest time, and it had a release date for a while in like 2018 or something, which even then I feel like that kind of would be past Minecraft's prime. And I mean, if they're only presumably entering production like now, like this year and the next year, then I can't imagine the movie's going to be out till like 2024, 25. I mean, that's like almost 15 years since the fucking game came out. And like, I don't know, I feel like, I don't know. Most of the people I know who play Minecraft, just like regular base game Minecraft, are like children. And, I don't know if they'll really be into like a live action one, but I don't know, who knows. I clearly don't have like my finger on the pulse of the movie going public, and certainly not of children. I don't have my finger on their pulse either, because that would be inappropriate. But yeah, like with that, and then the Mario movie coming out at the end of the year, which we still haven't seen anything from, I'm very suspect about Chris Pratt voicing Mario. I feel like when they finally do I feel like they're gonna delay the reveal of that voice for a long time, because I feel like I just can't imagine it working. Some people will be like, hey, you know, maybe we'll be surprised and he'll be doing like an actual high-pitched Mario voice, but that's like worse. I don't know, imagining Chris Pratt trying to do that voice is strange. It's like if they got Chris Pratt to play Mickey Mouse. Which, by the way, why hasn't Disney made any, like, high-profile franchise movies out of their legacy characters? Like, Mickey and Donald and Goofy and fucking, Pluto and Clarabelle and Daisy and Scrooge. I mean, I know they have DuckTales. They have, like, the DuckTales show or whatever. Oh, yeah. That's just another the mayor is having sex joke. The mayor's very obviously, like, Kennedy-based, I feel like. Mostly, of course, in the voice. Subscribe to my channel for more extremely smart and prescient observations about The Simpsons in 2022.
Where am I gonna put all these?
Anywho, I was going to say, between Mario movie coming out, Minecraft movie coming out, and then Sonic 2 beating Ambulance, a Michael Bay movie, in the box office quite considerably, I feel like we are... And also, I didn't hear that Uncharted movie, like, completely failed. I mean, I heard it was bad, but, like, who could have fucking guessed that? But I think we may be entering an era where the video game movie is actually viable, because, I mean, I think we're at a point now where it really is just established IP for the most part that, like, plays and makes any amount of money in theaters, in America at least. And video games are IP, and, you know, the nerd world has fully fused with the mainstream at this point. I really don't think there is much stigma around gaming and gamers as like a, you know, as a market to try to capture. And, you know, I feel like eventually you have to make a movie that's based on a video game that's, like, not that bad, but I mean, I'm not that optimistic, but I wouldn't be that optimistic. It's not necessarily just because it's video games. Obviously, video game adaptation movies have had a reputation for being bad for a long time, but I mean, I'm mostly am pessimistic about it just because most studio movie, like the baseline level of quality of studio, of like bigger budget studio movies, is not very good for me. Is not to my taste per se. But who knows? Someone said that the Wachowski sisters would make a good Mass Effect movie. I don't really have any intimate knowledge or history with the Mass Effect series, but from what I know about it, I do think that would be very good. And I think that the Wachowskis should continue to be given large budgets for movies that will lose money, but that I will like. I think that's what the whole Hollywood... I think that's what the film industry should be. That you release stuff that just, like, not that many people like, but I do. I mean, things like Netflix, they've been operating on their deficit for the whole time. That's, like, the point, you know? And I mean, now they're kind of eating shit for it, but partially because they're getting rid of a lot of shit that people like. Mostly because every other, like, cable channel and media company is making their own streaming service to have their shit on, so a lot of the big stuff like The Office and whatnot are, you know, no longer on Netflix. And most of the original stuff they make is like Poopy Butthole, and then they're cracking down on the sharing passwords, they're raising the price every, like, year. There's a lot of factors, but whatever. Not what I was talking about. What I was going to talk about is that they may make more video game movies, and I'm not necessarily opposed to it, although I'm not that optimistic about the quality of those movies, what that will be. Although, I have to say, I cannot really abide by the sentiment that all video game adaptation movies are bad. I, for one, am a big fan of the Resident Evil movie series. Resident Evil 1 is the only one that's, like, based on the game in any meaningful way. I mean, the franchise is, like, very much its own thing for the most part, except for Resident Evil Apocalypse. I think that's what the second one's called. I think that's Apocalypse, yeah. Which is the worst one, because it responded to all of the annoying fans of the game's reaction to the first movie, of not being like the game enough and not having enough random shit from the games. So the second movie tries to correct that and throw in a bunch of shit from the movies, and is also just, like, boring. But then once Paul W.S. Anderson is back in the hot seat, things get back on track, and it goes back to being a really cool and awesome like, action franchise, with a lot of neat, like, and interesting, I'm not going to necessarily say innovative, but interesting uses of digital photography, digital editing, digital effects. Like, there's more on those movies' minds than I think people give them credit for. But I will concede that the majority of them, I mean, even the first one, I just got fucking decked by that car, Jesus. They're very tertiary, not tertiary. What am I thinking of? Tenuous? That's what I'm thinking of. Very tenuous connection to the actual content of the games. Not much of, like, actually adapting the story of a game to film. But there's lots of ways to adapt a video game into a movie. I also don't hate the Lara Croft Tomb Raider, the first one. Also, was that by Paul W.S. Anderson? No, I don't think so. I think that's like Martin Campbell or some shit. I'll have to look. I don't remember. But that one's not bad. It's like very goofy and whatnot, but I don't mind that at all. The Alicia Vikander Tomb Raider is not awful, but is pretty stinky. I don't know. I'm like just a fan of the Tomb Raider games, so I kind of just get a kick out of that stuff. but I don't know. They kind of just... It's kind of like if you tried to make a GTA game into a movie, where it's like, it's a game where the appeal is that you play through like a typical, you know, like crime / mafia / gangster story. So if you made it into a movie, then you're just watching another gangster movie, right? And then like, I mean, and yeah, you could adapt the story of a GTA game, like with the characters, and that's your gangster movie, and maybe you can even streamline the story into a pretty decent screenplay, but there's still gonna be that element of, like, pointlessness, because I feel like the appeal of for most people of Grand Theft Auto is the playing, the open world factor. So, but anyway, I think that Nintendo, well, it may be too late now, but I was saying back in like 2015 when like Avengers Age of Ultron came out and like the MCU was really like beginning to grab all of Hollywood by the balls and everyone was scrambling to start a cinematic universe, I was saying Nintendo should get in on it at that point. And make standalone, like Mario, Zelda, Kirby, Metroid, etc. Movies, and then they could do like Avengers-style team-up movies based on the Smash Bros. Like you could do like a Subspace Emissary type Smash Brothers fucking movie, and that would be pretty cool. And I think if they had started it then, they could by now be making big bucks. But now I think if they started it, it would be too late. But it's okay. Nintendo will be fine. They prefer to make money the old-fashioned way by throwing all ROM hack makers and Let's Players and fan artists in a fucking ditch, putting them in the dungeon. Anyway, that was the first level. Yeah, missed a bunch of shit, obviously. Like I said, maybe I'll go back and get more extra stuff and try to pick up more extra stuff on the way as I'm playing through these levels, but I'm not going to beat my own ass about it. Yeah. So this was level 1, that was all the introductory stuff. Next time we'll be playing as the mischievous Bart, and continuing investigating the mystery of the surveillance cameras and whatnot. See you then for that.